against him. So I think they were trying to find something that can not have to worry so much about the Nyx inside of that mid game, and also maybe do okay inside that lane. I think Razor still is going to be just fine in that mid, but he should be able to win that matchup versus the Mirana quite easily. As bottom, we see Roger and Pasha.
The battle begins.
Can they put the pressure onto the Spectre like Bulldog was talking about this game? They have to, because that last game, Ame, he was uncontested farm. Sure, he went for this like Tread Soul Ring, which is a bit not traditional, but he made it work. His team made space for him, and he was able to get that farm online.
And I mean, looking at the drafts as well, obviously, PSG.LGD getting that Spectre in again as the 5th pick. Do you think VP, with the way that they drafted him, did have this? Solo? Doesn't actually look for him. So, one off on the guard. But do you think, looking at VP's draft, they were expecting the 5th pick Spectre?
I'm not too sure, because just the way that they're like the Razor is good versus it, but like the Spectre overall, the matchup, he's fine in this one. If he gets the late game, he is going to be that powerhouse. He doesn't. PL can be, but I think a Spectre can overwhelm and just whatever. He's going to build Radiance anyway, right? And then that's the dream versus a PL if you have your Radiance. So I don't know. I don't know if VP actually expected this one this time.
Let's see, because it's obviously going to feel very bad for VP if they fall foul to the Ameame Spectre 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
As you have to hope that for VP at least they do have a better way of approaching this game. As game 1 looked to be just going to plan the entire time for PSG.LGD. Even when they were behind at the start, the action wasn't going fast enough and furiously enough for VP to really ride that early lead to any sort of, a point where they were close to victory.
Yeah, this one, it's similar. Like, you're playing for Spectre, you can't make too many mistakes. That's always the big thing we talk about. That last one, they made some crucial ones. See if they can, fix up those errors this time around. His mid lane is already, I mean, Razor, we kind of said, the Mirana, they wanted to pick it because you might be able to do okay in the matchup, but Razor's dominating it right now. Actually saw XM missed, I think,
missing some
3 or
there.
4 CS under the tower there. Mirana's base damage is pretty bad.
Of course, PSG.LGD take the page out of, VP's, but anyone's book, I guess, in terms of the Enigma play. FY starting the jungle. We've seen him do this a few times, and FY's Enigma.
Ring of Regen pulled.
You can expect big black holes from him down the line.
Yep. I believe he bought himself a sentry, and he did actually de-ward the ward that was placed by VP. So he will be able to jungle not under that vision that the VP did have before. But PL's getting good farm.
Down bottom, they'll get
a kill.
They'll get it. They're able to run down X-Nova. A little too far out. The two of them have the burst in control. Pasha and Roger getting the first kill on the board for VP.
Going the 2 nuke build on Pasha, not getting the phase shift so they can put the pressure on. Like Bulldog was saying, they need to put the pressure on the Spectre. They can't let him just sit down there and farm. So these two should be able to accomplish that for a good amount of time. And since there's a disruptor who's not really the best at securing lanes. He's gotten better, of course, because of the way the nuke got buffed. But all 3 lanes, VP farming fine. PL may be getting a tiny bit pressured, but this Razor is destroying XM right now. 12-4 to the 6-2.
Top lane, bit of an attempt here to kill a solo. Needs him with the disruption, the poison stacking up on Chalice. Rams is on top of them with the Spirit Lance. Verify is going to be popped. Malefice will hold Rams back a little bit, but he has the Doppelganger still ready to go. Jumps into the trees and will get the kill.
All 3 lanes looking good. You see XM, he does pick up a DD, so maybe we'll be able to fix a little bit of that mid lane problem, but Ameame's getting pressured.
This would be a huge one if they have the damage to burst, but he has the stick charges, and now, in fact, he's looking to turn. He's straight down onto Pasha. Pasha's got the orb. Will manage to get himself away. I'll turn and trade his down to Roger. Kinetic Field will hold him in place. Ame being a little careful. He is a little low, and indeed will let Roger head back towards the towers. Pasha had the bottle, was starting to refuel back up.
If they connect that Waning Rift, they might be able to get the kill there, but yeah, Pasha wasn't able to get it. XM, he's committing for the kill.
And Fairy Fire will stop him from getting it. There's a close attempt, and also the South ready there from no one, so he's going to be able to get back up to full. Do still have the South available on XM, so he himself also will be able to stick around the lane, but
that was
to see that aggressive attempt. He knows that he's behind in CS. Yeah. If he gets that kill, that's going to help close the gap.
That was kind of like an all-in, like laning phase is starting to get to the point where it's not completely closed out, but that was like the all-in to try to fix his lane, and yeah, it didn't end up happening there. No one will be able to even get an arcane rune here too, and yeah, he's happy. He's spamming those chat wheels.
Bottom. Roger and Pasha able to get involved in these sort of pulls X-Nova, having to be a little more careful how far forward he comes. If he gets caught up by a stun, they will burst this disruptor pretty easily.
The beauty of the Radiant side, being able to do that little pull through constantly and just actually deny. I think he denied a full wave there from the side of VP. But they're constantly trying to poke Ame, and if you notice, Ame's queued up the Soul Ring already again in this game. He's realizing, like, it seems interesting. Like, it is a mana-intense hero, so being able to spam that all the time is just very useful as Roger. Calling the kinetic is...
All three of them getting very low. I mean, Ame, keep the distance. Another orb comes in and jump forward. See if they can finish off the Disruptor with those right clicks. Not enough. X-Nova will survive there. Only just as no one solo. They get the double usage out of the shrine. And down bottom, in fact, Roger, he's still hunting for X-Nova. Another kinetic field comes out, he tries for the stun. Goes for the, predicting that X-Nova would hide in the trees, but X-Nova makes the smart move, goes straight down the lane, keeps the distance.
But when what they did there was, it was 4.5 minutes or so, you saw they started playing very aggressive on VP to push that lane in, force into their tower so they can guarantee they get the 2 bounty runes. So Pasha, he had the bottle before those bounties spawned, able to fill up his mana. And I think he still even has another full bottle pretty much.
And we're seeing in that mid lane when sort of no one leaves the lane and goes to the jungle, it does give time for XM to begin catching up. Sure, 31 against the 19, but with the denies and such, no one... He's going to be able to keep ahead, but you can certainly expect XM to start to chase back in, and it'll get to the point where you could expect to see maybe some sort of a movement to set up. If he gets to these side lanes, XM, he has heroes that he can work with to get setups for kills. And I mean, it is deceptive, honestly. Like, he's actually even net worth, because a lot of those are neutrals. So even though it's the 32 last hits, they're actually dead even at 2k at the moment, until he eats that mango, where he probably fell a little bit behind. But bottom, Ame is alone, trying to farm here between the 2 towers as Roger goes in with the stun. TP coming in. Are they going to be able to burst Ame in time? They won't be able to.
But look where they push the Spectre out to. He has to actually probably go Shrine so he can guarantee to be able to farm, but he's missing a full creep wave under the tower there. This is much better approach this game by VP, just putting the pressure on in the laning phase in particular. Chalice, looks like he should be okay solo.
And with the Wave of Terror, they're just punching into the Shadow Demon. The physical damage for these two with the Eidolons. And that armor reduction from the Wave of Terror just shreds through the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, XM is totally caught back up here. He's actually bullied no one a bit to have to go to the jungle and actually use a shrine as well. It's Mirana taking over the lane a bit here, and that's the catapult wave. So he's able to put pressure on tower too, and bottom, X-Nova getting body blocked.
Kinetic field is not... Is he going to hold him back? No, he won't. Pasha's able to get the final right click off and get the kill. They get X-Nova once again, same time up top. Attempt from VP to chase down FY. Doppelganger in from Ramses. They're on top of the Enigma. He cannot hide. The poison from Solar will burst him.
See, this is more fun game. See, the last one we had, what, 12 kills at the 20-something minutes? We got 5 at 7. They're picking up the pace. They're ramping up the action. Roger. He's
popped the mango. Spike Carapace trips up Ame as he pops out the dagger. They're hunting for him. Ame actually able to sort of jump across the trees there with that pathing from the dagger. Stun from Roger does land, but no further follow-up. He's got those 2 points in dispersion and has the 11-1 charges, so it's a pretty beefy target to go on. Yeah. We'll be able to stay safe underneath the tower. I'm liking
this Soul Ring. Honestly, he's got this like 7 HP per second. Look how tanky he is too already. 1100 HP on the Spectre, so he can soak up some of that pressure. No, he's have the dagger to farm. Cool approach. I like it.
XM, I mean, with the way that no one has been going to the jungle as a Razor does, the tier 1 tower in the mid lane, it's nearly going down on VP's side. Yeah, I mean, he put the pressure on, he forced the Razor back up and used a shrine, and that was during the catapult wave. He's just like, okay, free hits on the tower. That was very well played by XM. We see VP, they're putting a lot of attention to try to make sure Ramses can get good farm. They put up these double wards actually on the left side of the map here to keep tabs on the Enigma and just know if any like smoke rotation comes out to gank this, but they're just looking to take the tower here. With these auras they've got online with the Dominator finished. Easy pickings for it, as FY secures that last hit for himself. We're seeing now, just having the infused raindrop. I mean, Ame, he has got X-Nova by his side, but if it's just Pasha and Roger down here, he doesn't need to be too scared on this Spectre. No. He's a very hard target for these two to harass. Yeah, I think no one needs to maybe start being a little bit more active here. Instead of just straight up just jungling, I think he has to be making moves around the map to put pressure on the lanes to help a little bit. As top, he will go for Chalice, but Disruption not quite in range. Also getting mini stunned by that Malphus. And with that movement though, he tries to go somewhere else. It's going to leave that tower to full. XM's able to claim it. That's going to keep XM very much at the top of that net worth. He's going to get the last hit too. They used the glyph, but secured for XM. Top net worth now on this Mirana. And he's got, the good thing about Mirana in this game is that he has Avenge. Sometimes Mirana's, you're like, your damage isn't really the greatest. Sure, lead provides you a lot more, but he's got that amplification. I think it's very important to have this core Mirana. That's Roger. After the setup on X-Nova, Pasha knows he's not going to jump forward for that one. Knows that Ameame's hiding in the trees.
They're making a move down bottom, though. We see PSG.LGD. They're rotating too to secure the Spectre.
Roger might not be able to get back towards that tower in time with this wrap around the arrow. It's going to be off the mark. Roger's able to back off and read the movement. And with that in mind, both of them will be able to get away from the rotation. And it was a big one, both Chalice and XM coming down. That's, you know, every single core of PSG.LGD suddenly being in that bottom lane. Top, they know FY is very much alone with that movement and showing on the bottom lane. They'll just run him down with the PL. They're straight on top of him. Solo buys time for Ramses to surround him, trap him in the illusions. As VP continues to get a lot of action going for Ramses in that top lane.
Yeah, it's a PL who's versus not the most, not like no AoE damage, but pretty limited to be able to clear out those illusions. Just the PL, you know, Static Storm and the Enigma pulse until they have the Radiance, of course, for Spectre in the later stages, but Ramses getting off to a good start. As I believe the Atos, I think, is getting close to being done for no one. So I guess he's just looking to farm until he has Atos before he wants to make plays. He wants to be able to guarantee get chased down. Because their catch is a bit limited on VP. It's pretty much the Puck and the Nyx as their big catching hero. So if they're not there, he wants to be sure to have his own tool. Be sure to get on top of these heroes. Oh, levels looking for supports. We are at that 10-minute mark. FY is 6. See, X-Nova only level 4 right now. They buy the Tome. Are they going to pass that to somebody? I saw Chalice actually buy it. He might give that to one of his teammates here as this Vengeful. And they're making a smoke move up. They're actually looking to hunt, maybe get some deep wards down to watch, because VP's not making aggressive moves right now. So Razor's jungling, PL's jungling. They know this. They want to get tabs of that.
Yeah, they know the PL's there up on the high ground. Does put the kinetic field as that smoke gets dispelled, but of course Ramses deep in the neutral camps. PSG.LGD, the three of them pushing on. They can try for some pressure on the tier 2. You know, FY having that helm, having the Hellbear smashing the Eidolons up, they can force forward. Roger has just hit 6, so the Vendetta's there to allow them to scout out, get this vision on the 2 of them.
Pasha's setting up here. He's TPing to the shrine, has coil available.
If Roger can get the right line, he's going to try for it. It's only a stun onto 1, but it will mean an easy kill onto the Enigma. FY's got him with the root down onto XM, followed up by the silence from Pasha. VP will get both of the kills.
Very nicely done there. And with that Atos, I mean, incredibly good versus the Mirana there, as we see, being able to get that follow-up catch. And they will even get to... They used Demonic Purge on that one. Solo really wanted to get that extra little bit. It's 1-7, 2k advantage. And yeah, great move there. But this is what they want to be doing, right? VP, they want to be leading. They don't want this to be an early game when they're playing... an even game when they're playing versus the Spectre.
They've got to make sure that this league continues to grow. Because you look back at the same time last game, it also looked, hey, VP, they had a fantastic beginning. But where do they take it?
Yep. And this time they are playing versus this Enigma, who does not have the threat of anybody stopping his black hole once he gets BKB, which I think FY can just rush it in this game. Like, there's no one to stop it if he gets it. So I don't know if the auras... Yeah, he's executed up. So he's the Dominator, Arcane Boots, and just straight to BKB. Do they have somebody else maybe that's going to build toward that mech? We actually don't know yet, just yet. No, Chalice has queued up the drum, so... He's just prioritizing that he knows that they should be able to win every team fight once he has BKB. And the job is really make that space for Ame.
Do have the Shadow Demon down here solo. He has got Demonic Purge. With the 2 of them, not enough. They need an extra member, and Roger does start to move down towards the jungle.
It is quite a lot of damage if the Desolate is skilled, but most Spectres, they don't really get the points early on. Shadow Demon, actually, if you get the disruption on him and he has Desolate, you kill yourself. Your Spectre kills yourself pretty quickly. But yeah, they do need the +1 until that's online. Solo, he gets a ward, you know, the warding mission, though. He gets a couple down there so they can keep some tabs. This LGD, they're looking to make a play here onto Ramses. They've got this Moonlight Shadow set up.
Yep, that'll be able to come out of the Invis straight away with the Magic Missile. Static Storm down. An easy trap is set for Ramses. Has no way to play his way out of that one.
Something you kind of forget about when you don't play too much versus this Mirana is having just sentries set up inside of your lanes to protect your cores. They actually don't have obs and sentries placed down anywhere. It's kind of like this free smoke that people always talk about when you have a Mirana in your lineup. They now do have Blink on Pasha, so they can look to make more consistent aggressive plays to try to punish Ame.
Yeah, they really do need to start worrying about the Spectre soon. I mean, sure, he's not, you know, he's halfway up the net worth, but a couple of fights a quick call from Ameame to join in, and suddenly he'll shoot up to the same farm as no one.
Yeah, and the thing this time is in this game, they get the Carapace connection, but they won't be able to close it. In this game, they don't have anyone to hit towers on the side of VP. Like, no one really can siege Solo.
Chalice TP's into the shrine. He's got the setup on Solo. Solo turns with the Demonic Purge, but Ameame's going to be there with the chase down. He's got Dagger back up in a second if he needs it. He's just going to run him down as there's the Dagger to finish off the kill. More money for Ameame. You have to be careful, VP. Anytime you poke and you lose a kill to the Spectre, you're going to be allowing LGD to build towards a similar situation as game one.
I mean, no one's just playing the farm game. He's just been hitting jungle creeps pretty much this entire time. 122 last hits. 2,000 HP on this Razor too, so he could look to get aggressive, and I think they should. With this Blink, with this Coil too. We have Bounty Runes coming up, so we'll see a contestant coming out since they have that bottle on Pasha. FY is poised up on this high ground. Chalice is actually committing forward. He's going to get A-toast.
Yeah, they'll get the root out. Do they have the follow-up control? They are going to have Ameame by his side, but indeed, that's going to be Chalice gone. They burst him down. Now they'll turn towards the Spectre. Ameame retreating, does have FY. FY hiding in the trees just in case the chase was going to continue towards Ameame, but it won't be the case. At least immediately, they are still starting to move towards the spawn lane, but there's going to be time for Ameame to TP out FY. Is he going to get away? He's not. Roger able to close the gap with the stun, as they will manage to punish the Enigma. At least though for LGD, Ameame gets out, back towards the mid lane. X-Nova and Ameame getting gone upon, but they're actually able to turn. Solo tried to go with the disruption, glimpse back into the range of them there. Solo still getting beaten down by the Sassar Tormentor, and they'll lose the Shadow Demon VP. The rest of them not able to get there in time, and I will allow some sort of follow-up to that disruption setup.
XM got a lot of farm during that whole entire play there. He pushed out like 4 or 5 creep waves up top as Sub Ramsey's jungling. And immediately they're making the smoke play. They've got Disruptor. I think they're just going to keep doing this over and over again. Just this Venge plus Disruptor combo to just set up for the PL. Because he can't do anything until he has... I mean, yes, either someone behind him, particularly that Shadow Demon to save, which I think Solo's probably going to have to start doing soon, or until he has his either like Manta Stun, he can push himself out. But he's actually gone for the SNY, so still at high risk of getting just caught inside of that Static Storm over and over again.
Pings out onto Ramses. They'll start to move straight towards him. See if they can catch him out, though. It's going to be hard until they know where the real one is. He doppelgangers across. But we'll now know that they're there. Kinetic Field down, and next over Chalice. Drums are going to be popped to get them away from any TP, but indeed Pasha blinks forward. They get the Dream Call snap onto the two of them. X-Nova will be found. See if they can chase down Chalice, Roger. Maybe trying to cut off with the Vendetta, but the tier 1 tower is still top, so it's still hard for them to get any sort of wraparound onto Chalice. They'll look straight towards the mid, knowing that there's no Disruptor there to provide some sort of save if they can find themselves a bigger core VP.
Yeah, they get their ward behind the tower too, so they are aware of anything if LGD does want to step up. So they see FY actually porting in here already. Roger is set up immediately. They're going.
They are. FY TP'd into this straight away. The reactions from VP comes out.
They were super prepared for that one there. Just everybody wrapping around perfectly for it.
VP, they should get this tier 1 tower, as they'll push back hard against LGD now with a 3k lead, 11-4. Glimpse is going to be there, dragging Roger back into the kinetic field. Chalice, he's getting focused down though by Ramsey. The stun as well, getting the two of them out is perfect from Roger, as that's the 3 more dead on PSG.LGD.
And they have the Shadow Demon there back behind the Razor just to save on top too. And yeah, beautiful stun by Roger.
Roger
perfect setup.
Setting up so much there. It was the reason why they got that initial kill onto FY. PSG.LGD, they still decided to stick around and try and fire, and Roger's there with a perfect angle for more.
And VP, they recognize that our draft doesn't really push towers too well, so when we get these type of kills, that's our opportunity to actually get these objectives finally.
A bit of a ballsy CP there from Ramses, even out to that tier 2. Nearly a Malefice came in, but was able to complete the channeling before FY closed the gap. But VP, you can definitely feel it, being a bit more controlled with how they keep this pressure up. They're able to come out of the lanes on top, and this time round, it's looking less likely they're going to throw it away with any sort of dive as such happened in game 1.
Yeah, they only really have the puck who actually can dive forward, right? Razor he's not going to get out of position.
Yeah, you can't wait form behind a tier 2 on this hero. So no one's teammates going to be happy with that.
Yep. They've got Moonlight Shadow available again. Do they have the Static Storm? X-Nova's starting to get some vision out first. But yeah, these plays, they actually seem like they need the Moonlight Shadow because they have to get right on top of the PL for it to be a consistent gank that'll actually work every time. But Ameame is still farming fine. That's the one thing that's great for LGD is he's 3,400, 3,500 actually toward that relic.
Roger again, giving this information. Eyes on to both XM and Chalice. This is 2 cores. I mean, if they can get both of these, I mean, even if they just get one, it'll be fantastic. Root's going to be out. Dust is there, of course. Roger's prepared for the Invis. As Chalice will fall, XM has to just get out immediately. Straight into the trees. They are hunting for him, though. Seeing if they can find him. Do have a Dream Core, but they don't have vision, of course, on the front. But the Dream Core is going to know. They pop it down. They know that he's in it somewhere. Another stun from Roger again, holding him in place. They've got the sentry down. He'll be able to jump to the side. I believe he does have TP. He's trying to get away. Can they burst him in time? They cannot, so XM will escape.
I can't believe they actually got him there with like all those spells. They didn't see him. They didn't have the detection until a little bit later on. Ramses, though, was able to farm freely in that mid lane for quite a long time. Yeah, VP still looking very good. Ramsey, or Roger constantly, every single time Vendetta's up, pops it instantly on that scouting expedition. Kind of trying to keep tabs of where LGD is. Don't let them slow this pace down too much, because the Spectre, he's still having okay timing, just like that last game.
Yeah, that's going to be the real test for VP, trying to fight when that Radiance is done on Ameame. That was the big turning point last game.
This time no one is an absolute unit, though. He is sitting at 2300 HP, BKB, Atos, no risk. He's going for the really safe items here, just so he can always stay inside of the fight, stay inside of the frame. Follow around that Spectre. How's our Enigma BKB for FY?
Very close, just about 1,000 gold away.
1,000 gold, okay. So I think that looks like they'll come pretty much at the same time, the Radiance and the BKB, so we will probably see LGD look to fight around those timings. VP, they have to be ready for it. And we do see them, they've placed down a bunch of sentries on the map, and just they're placing just these river wards actually for the time being, just to watch if LGD is looking to set up. And you see these random sentry placements that they have too, just kind of inside the jungle where your PL is going to be farming, so you can be wary if they do look to go for those Moonlight Shadows.
Top lane. BKB's going to be committed here by no one. He wants X Nova dead. He'll get it. Get the kill on Disruptor. Horn actually being used to their attempt down bottom. They're using the black hole to set up for Pasha. They'll see a core opportunity kill and they'll take it. Does cost them the 2 ultimates.
It's a killing spree though, so they get the, I mean, the Radiance is done now.
Yeah, gives them that final bit of money for Ameame.
Yep. Key timing.
But you know, and now VP, they're going to want to do something big, at least when Pasha's back up, when these ultimates aren't available. They're so ready to go. You have this diffusal S and Y done on Ramses. And as you say, with the way that no one's built, he can just charge straight into the fights. They've got a sentry down. They've got the vision required as Chalice found as well. VP certainly stepping up the pace with much more success than they were able to at this point in game 1.
And now another one solo. He finds the disruption on the disruptor.
Does get arrowed. Next time we'll jump up to the high ground to capitalize on that and get the kill. Same time the trade's going to be made. X Nova falls. 18 for 6, 8k lead for VP. They're playing it fast.
It's just 2 heroes right here from VP at the moment. Ame is actually TP'd to try to be sure to defend this tower.
VP.
These 2 cores are so scary on VP. The PL and the Razor just
they've got Pasha
hold
back
their
in.
ground.
He's back in the game. He's able to TP over to the wave. They're ready to make a play. Straight down with the rod. And with the Dream Core, Ame's in trouble. Is there going to be any help for him? I don't think so. BKB committed by no one. That's the Spectre dead. The itemization this game and the way that they're playing. VP, it seems at the moment they learned their lesson from game 1.
That was just sheer confidence, right? Just they have the bots on the puck. They know that these 2 can hold their ground until he does respawn to be able to set up for that one. Yeah, I'm really liking the itemization by no one. Just no funny business, right? Just that Atos to catch, BKB to be safe.
PSG.LGD have to do some real slowing down this game if they want to get it to the same point as last time, but as it is, they're getting caught out across the map. X Nova, he's even going to pop a Static Storm down for this.
And look at this, they're immediately just running it, looking for another target here. LGD hemorrhaging kills.
Well, he's got to be careful. He has got that BKB, but ideally wants to be using the charges, you know, when he's going for those black holes, not to survive any sort of gank. XM's already teeping out of that bottom lane. Very close to having his BKB.
Yeah. In the last game they had, you know, XM was playing this Pugna where he was able to, when all these kind of situations are happening, he was getting the split push going. He's always been able to pressure towers. This time he's a Mirana. He's been pretty quiet in this game. He did pretty okay in that laning phase, but he's 2-2-1. They only have 6 kills, but his real only contribution has been a lot of that Moonlight Shadow for his team to set up. He can't actually do too much because he can't take objectives when all this is happening. He just kind of pushes out a wave slowly in comparison to a Pugna. As Roche looks to be secured. Don't see LGD being able to contest this one, but they are starting to make their way over.
Got to get it quick though, and they don't have Black Hole. They do have the Horn at the ready.
Ramses is very low.
Arrow's going to come in to scout it out, but the Roche... Oh, the one, maybe still they're going to jump in. Can he do it? Radiant gets the kill, but Roger snatches the Aegis. Now they'll try and turn towards Ameame. BKB's popped by no one. He's in with the standing link. F5's trying to move in. The black hole is there, controlling the Razor. No one's held down. LGD, they'll get another. They've picked off the Nyx Assassin once, taking the Aegis out of the hands of Roger. They're ready to kill him again. They're focusing him down. The Malaf is slowing him, stunning him up. That's another dead on VP. As PSG.LGD, they don't manage to pick up the Aegis themselves, but they get the Roche kill, they get the team fight. They might even get more here. The glimpse back attempt is going to be there, but the play from Pasha there, the blinks at the same time to get away from it will keep him safe.
Oh my God. Ramses got bashed as the Roche was so low. He actually was so close to dying. Look at his contribution to the fight. He literally just doppeled and had to run away inside of there. No one gets isolated. And Roger, you know, it's panic at that point. Someone needs to pick up the Aegis. They make sure the Spectre does, and Roger has to take it. It's not obviously the target that VP wanted to have on that Aegis. As Chalice commits forward here.
He's going to go straight for the TP out, but the damage, it's too much. Ramses with the illusions out with those diffusal blades. Shreds through the Vengeful Spirit. VP still holding the lead, but we'll see it again.
Yeah, look at that bash. Bash right there.
It was the arrow. Oh, was it the arrow? No one.
Yeah, it was arrow no one.
Arrow no one. But just an unfortunate turn of events there around the pit. PSG.LGD making the call to go in with that horn at the right time. Black Hole easily allowing them to kill off no one, and it just fell apart from that point for VP in this Roche fight.
Yeah, thank God for Pasha coming in there on the back lines, cleaning up Ameame. If Ameame gets away there, could be total disaster for VP. Right now, it's relatively okay as they keep this, you know, 8K gold lead, and they're starting to still pick up some kills around the map as Pasha.
They're hunting. Midnight Pulse cleans out the trees. Dream goes down onto the two, and then the arrow is going to miss, but the Maleficent is Static Stormer down upon him. He's glimpsed back into it as well. Pasha can't escape.
Don't want to be giving up any of these type of kills though when you're playing versus the Spectre. That's without Haunt. You just lost your puck. Haunt's going to be back up in about 30 seconds, and you have to imagine LGD, they're going to look to go immediately. They want to making moves when their timings are up. When they have Haunt, maybe they wait for the black hole because it's an extra 30 seconds after the Haunt is up. And they always have that BKB, so he should get the setup. But now Ameame,
they're going for him. They've got the Spike Carapace into the stun. They're locking him down. Ameame's gone. Woo. VP. They make the move when he's out on the lane, and the Aghanim Scepter now done for no one.
Touch the arrow too, and that was them actually not even having to use the one thing that we didn't talk about actually is the break. They have the break versus the Spectre a lot of times in this game. He didn't have to use it until the end. He just used it to actually finish the kill. Ameame
be hunted. Swap back from Chalice. We'll get him away from Ramses' army. Hey, they've got to be careful. FY with that blink. 20 seconds until black hole. You've got to watch out for this Enigma.
Yeah. The blink finished up definitely is a lot more of a threat. Because the Haunt, you're gonna provide yourself vision for this Enigma. You're gonna provide the chaos as well for you to try to get the setups there. This VP, they claim that mid tier 2. They've only got one tier 2 left. They look like they're making their way down bottom to try to maybe secure that one.
After they've got that tier 2, it's then the real test is there for VP. Breaking the high ground against this lineup without losing team fights, as they cannot afford to slip behind like they did at game 1.
Gotta watch how much you stack too. I mean, this Enigma, the blink BKB, there's no way to stop it.
With this smoke, GG, they're looking for the setup. Chalice will reveal himself on the front. You see FY trying to wrap around from the low ground. They're pretty grouped up. Doesn't want to commit though. Still wants to know where everyone is. Now jump. He gets the two-man black hole off. Holding down Solo as well as no one, and that'll do it for the first 2 kills. Roger tries to go on the back lines. The Dream Call is down upon them, but Ameame moves in. It's 3 dead on VP. Ramses, he has to get out of here. Buyback from Chalice and buyback from X-Nova. They know if they get this kill, this is going to be a huge team fight with the VP. It's already pretty, sorry for LGD, it's already pretty massive. Getting these 3 kills. Swap back as well onto Ramses. He'll jump across the side, but the glimpse is there. Bringing him back. Stunned up, held in place. Ramses falls as well. As this is the fight that VP, they cannot afford for this to happen. They're losing these fights. The Spectre's staying alive. Ameame's going to climb into this game, and this is not going to get any easier for Virtus.pro.
No. Especially when it's a Spectre versus a PL. So every single time in these matchups, you're going to be throwing that dagger onto the PL, so you always know which one that real is. You can't do any funny business as a PL there. And you see FY, he could have maybe gone for like other targets, but he prioritizes get the Shadow Demon, get the Razor together, because then they can't save. And when no one's out of the fight, he's their strongest hero, even though the PL is so farmed.
Down bottom. Trying to chase here with their Radiance, ticking him down. Jump forward from XM. Arrow's going to be dodged. See if he can play his way out of this. He has got the Yules into the blink. Available Army trying to keep on top of him. And we'll The Yules into his orb and blink out will allow Pasha to dance his way away from LGD's chase.
Space created. But that is a huge swing of momentum there.
I mean, I feel like how many more team fights like that can VP afford to happen before this game looks to be nearly as over as game one did?
I don't think they can make another mistake in this game. I think that one is already so costly for them. They ideally, they wanted to be able to have these fights happening with Aegis, right? But they didn't end up actually have it because of what ended up happening around that Roche pit. So I think if one more situation happens like that, it's going to be already like very confirmed for LGD favored.
And we're seeing the way at the moment the last few Black Holes have gone, it's been absolutely fine. You know, as long as FY gets no one, you know, he's the tanky one. As long as they can hold him down, get the Razor out of the fight, they can sort of deal at the moment with picking off Ramses later. And you want to get rid of this Razor with his Eye of the Storm, especially because he has this Axe.
Yeah, and they'll always know where everybody is inside of the team fights. You pop Hunt, we know where everything is. They even have an extra vision aspect with the Wave of Terror, so they're gonna be able to look to take those fights and set up for FY to have these perfect Black Holes. And yeah, Blink, BKB, like we said, there's no way to cancel, so he should be able to set up for the majority of times on these heroes, as long as he doesn't die during the Black Hole. Ramses has his status resist build finished up now. You know, Satanic plus that S and Y.
At least with that sort of HP, he's got more of a chance surviving, but a lot of the times FY, he's pretty much always been able to get down the Midnight Pulse before.
Yep.
Which is going to help shred through these large HP targets.
And they've even, I mean, XM too, we were talking about he was being a bit quiet here. He's now 6-2 and 5 on the Mirana. Full Mjolnir on top of the BKB. You know, those illusions, not as threatening anymore. Even though they're very tanky, they do start getting brought down pretty fast by this, what is it, the electric charge that you put on yourself.
Pasha on the puck, he's got the Aghanims done now, so they have that greater sort of team fight force. If Pasha is able to get that sort of set up with the Dream Coil, make it very hard for any of these cores to sort of get out of there without time being bought for Ramses to just get on top of them with the army.
So there's always going to be the threat of trying to catch this Enigma before he gets his BKB off. Can they kill him? It's going to be very hard for them to kill him before he does get that off every single time. Unless the Nyx is there to get that follow-up stun every single one of the times that they do see the Enigma. But yeah, they've got everything available. Smoke's ready. Ame is pushing out that bottom lane just with his Radiance. He's actually not showing himself, but they should be very aware of that happening.
Shadow used here by PSG.LGD. VP incredibly clumped up at the moment, up towards top, still under the cover of the smoke. They'll start to make the move towards the mid lane.
Gotta watch that positioning on Solo. He has to sit far behind the rest of the team to make sure he can actually save them with the disruption versus that Black Hole. Chalice reveals himself here with that Wave of Terror. Gets a toast.
He does. We'll see if there's going to be any attempt to save him. They're going to move in with the Eye of the Storm. Chalice will swap up to the north. But it looks like they'll let this one go, PSG.LGD. There's nothing they could do to save Chalice. They'll have to accept that the bench is gone. Actually, to the side, they find themselves another VP. They're able to catch out X-Nova hiding in the trees. They'll get a second pick-off. There's two heroes without buyback available, and Roger is already playing around with another, chasing down XM. Gets the stun, the rest of VP moving in. Can they close the gap? The body blocks here from Roger. Buys time for Solo to get in with the Demonic Purge. The disruption as well, and Ramses to close in. He's going to look towards FY. FY's able to blink up to the high ground. BKB popped by XM. Will get him far enough back away to safety. The VP, 2 kills. Those two heroes, as I said, they do not have buyback. The BKB of XM is going to win. The illusions are upon him. In they go with the Q. XM's dead as well. That's 3 heroes dead now. No buybacks available on them. As VP, they've got the creep wave in the middle lane. They can push on. PSG.LGD, they do have the Haunt and the BKB Black Hole, but it's just FY and Ameame left to try and defend here at the moment.
And now we see that Aghanim's Razor coming into play. As soon as they get these heroes, this is now their way for them to take these objectives, take these towers down. They've
got the sieging potential indeed, as they should at least get a set of racks out of this one. Nice VP. They don't need to back up for now. They'll get the range racks. Surely they'll stick around for the melee racks here. They certainly will. So VP. Are they going to finish it off though? FY's jumping in. No one's going to be careful. They split immediately. The racks does go down. Black Hole's going to be used. Holding no one in place during the BKB. VP, they've got to just get out of here. Let no one die. You've got the racks. You got what you came for. Just make sure nobody else suffers. As they're retreating, but the vision there for the glimpse on Solo. They'll go for a defensive disruption, but he's surrounded by the entirety of PSG.LGD. They'll get Solo too. But these two heroes, they do have buybacks, so it's going to be questionable how much PSG.LGD can do in reaction to that. And they lost their racks. VP got what they came for.
And XM bought back. I think his respawn was almost finished, and he actually bought back as soon as the fight comes out from FY.
They need this rush.
They need this rush, yep.
And VP knows that they need this rush. There's going to be a buyback from Solo. No one holding on to his buyback for now.
They've got no hole available, but they've got their haunt still.
There we go. He's committing. He knows that PSG.LGD, with that buyback use, they're desperate to get this Aegis and cheese. And VP, they don't want to let them have it. That's no black hole, of course, but still, Haunt is there. That's 28-16, 9k lead, and a full set of racks up. VP getting back on track and continuing to have Ramses very far ahead of the game. 18k net worth on this PL. So we'll get back in and see how the fight ensues around this Roshan. Both teams are going to be for sure throwing a lot of resources into trying to control this. And they have to be careful, both of them. No one's... Now he's got no buyback, and so is XM. Each side could risk losing their mid laner.
Yep. They're just not at risk of it. Ooh, no one gets hurt by that arrow there.
Ooh, it's quite far away, though. They won't be able to get to him, and the Roshan is just... It's melting to Ramses. There's another pulse comes in.
Looks like so, yeah, looked like there's some lag coming in there.
Well, I think that's so the feature, isn't it? When you throw a dagger into the pit and suddenly see all the PL illusions, it's like, oh, hang on. Then you get a bit of the lag. Let's see. BP, they're very close to finishing off the Roche, but we saw this before, and Haunt is there.
Yeah, no black hole, though. That's the big threat. They just don't want to be clumped up too much. They do have the BKB, of course, on the Razor, but nobody else actually does, so the Disruptor ulti can still be a bit of a problem.
Let's see. FY outside the pit. Doesn't quite have the black hole. They get the vision inside of it. FY's trying to head in. The stun actually going to miss. There is the Haunt play. They'll move it. FY puts the BKB. The static storm down. Who's going to get the Roshan though? That's the question. Ramses, he's able to pick it up. Now they look to turn, but they've lost no one. No one's dead for 2 minutes. Ramses is incredibly low as well. PSG.LGD moving, jump forward. That's going to be the Aegis gone. Out of the hands of Ramses. Can they kill him a second time? Roger's trying to have a cheese. Gets XM back up to full before Roger can get the final hit in. As VP, they've got to try and make sure they don't lose anyone else, but Roger's already dead. PSG.LGD, they've got the full lineup alive and 90 seconds without no one ready to defend.
FY just walks into the pit. Doesn't matter if he doesn't have the black hole. He actually had the Midnight Pulse clipping on the sidelines. And like we said, Static Storm is still an issue for the rest of them. We see X-Nova, he just blankets that Roche pit completely with his ulti. So it makes it a lot harder for them to actually do anything there. And yeah, the cheese was taken. Sure, they got the Aegis, but no one is dead. He is dead for 70 seconds.
Now VP. How can they hold this? It's going to be tricky. But the pushing power that PSG.LGD's lineup have, they should be able to hit back and at least take something for losing their own set of racks earlier. The fortification is out. Ramsey's starting to spam up with the illusions.
Scary thing is that Black Hole, Black Hole's going to be coming back up very soon now for FY. Sure, Haunt's down for about 40 more seconds. And look at Ame. Did you see what he's doing there? He's turning off the Radiance constantly because that Nyx Assassin, he knows he can get stunned up on that high ground. It can be a bit of a threat there. So Ame playing it smart. They get the smart.
Ramses, he's stuck in the static storm. They're going to get him out. There's going to be the defensive disruption. Can he get out in time? He's trying to run. He will. He'll be able to get the doppler off. Solo's able to save him in time with that disruption. We'll keep Ramses from going down. PSG.LGD also falling a little low as Solo was able to do quite a fair bit there, getting the poison out upon them, and that will stop the push and get PSG.LGD pushed back away from VP's base. No one's going to be back up in 10 seconds.
Jesus, that was scary. I think the black hole was coming up any second after that disruption went off FY. Now it does have it available. Such a swing of momentum. These Roche pit fights are absolute chaos. And when you have chaos and you have a Spectre, you're definitely feeling pretty nice about it. Ame, he's not going for the heart this game. He's actually going for BKB himself so that he doesn't have to worry about all this chain disable and lockdown that comes out from the side of from VP. And also just the mana burn too can be pretty annoying as a Spectre versus PL.
6k. Back ahead. Ramses. Very, closing in on their butterfly. They're very much going to be ready to try and go for a second set of racks soon, VP. But there's still those two big ults they have to be very aware of. Even the static storm as we're seeing as well. Solo's always got to be ready to provide that safety with the disruption. One of his cores gets locked down without a BKB charge ready to pop.
Roger just constantly trying to give as much information for his team as possible. And VP, they look like they're a bit stunted here after these last few plays. They're finishing up their next items, but there's no, the Razor no one. He doesn't have this buyback available. He just has to buy his next item. Definitely looking scary as, you know, they're playing versus this Spectre Haunt plus BKB Enigma. That's just this looming threat inside of every single one of these team fights. Who do you actually go on if you are VP? They have to find a way to get FY in the backline to get some type of chain stun before he's able to get it. They have to get information of where this Enigma is in the fights.
There's just so much counter initiation from PSG.LGD's lineup. VP, they have to make the commitment clean and quick.
And they still don't. They only have the one BKB too, so it's like the static storm, like I was mentioning. It still is a threat versus the rest of the heroes on the team. If they get clipped by it at all, that silence really could be the difference maker between them saving one of their big cores and the Moonlight Shadow. GD, they have momentum pushing in through that mid lane. The side lanes are in an okay spot as well right now, and Ame, he can deal with those side lanes, and then he can just haunt in.
Dire are scanning.
PSG.LGD just each and every time being prepared to catch anybody that heads out alone from VP's base, but VP aren't falling for it. Anytime that they see that PSG.LGD's off the map, they just get up to the high ground. They're not going to be caught outside the base, as it seems. Playing it smart. Ideally, PSG.LGD just want to get that tier 2 down on the bottom lane. Open up the opportunity for, if they do get a fight, the chance to take multiple sets of racks away from VP.
Yeah. I mean, LGD just looking to fight at any time here. As long as they've got the 3 or 4 heroes playing together and Ame separate, then they can definitely look to take all of these, because VP, they just don't have the solution to this Enigma, who's approaching, actually pretty much has Refresher finished up on FY2. So that one of those Blink BKB black holes is a problem, and 2 of them is, it's going to be overwhelming for VP to deal with. Roger. He's standing on this Arcane, but he's standing under vision. They have sentries. They saw him for a moment.
The dust will spook him away as well. But Roger was able to pick up the Arcane Rune before hiding back. XM, DD, Rune bottled and ready to pop for the next fight.
He's hitting hard now too, especially if he's next to the Venge. Without Venge, he's with plus 143 with a Daedalus. So with the Venge near him plus a DD, this is going to be a Mirana that can't be ignored inside of the fights. And there's just so many, like we were saying, there's so many chaos things and so many things you have to be concerned about from the side of LGD. This Mirana might actually be able to do so much inside the fights because you're just so worried about Enigma, so worried about Spectre, so worried about Static Storm.
Still, even though VP do have the network lead, they're definitely in the more sort of fragile position.
Absolutely.
They didn't want this game to go 41 minutes against Ame Spectre, that's for sure. As the difficulty's only going to get higher. One mistake and game and tournament dream for VP could be over.
In a game like this as well, just so scary how it's set up. Roger, he's keeping tabs on Ame here. He has his 2 cores rotating over, but this is a BKB on this Spectre. So if he is able to get it off, then he should be fine. But nah, Roger's just gonna give him the poke. They could have the damage to kill him though with those 2, because they do have the bots as well on the puck, and of course that break mechanic that comes in from the Vendetta can be very useful if he's able to get it off on Ame early.
Pasha able to shove the wave out on the bottom at least. Do have another wave quickly coming in though. I was only able to get him down to half health actually, so PSG.LGD can keep that pressure on.
VP's gonna start. They're gonna start losing the net worth lead soon because they're under so much pressure of coming outside of the base. They can't actually take this head-on fight. They have to try to get a pick off before the fight starts to just have the numbers, because they just can't fight versus Spectre and Enigma. It's way too much.
I really feel that both teams don't want to make that brash movement, as at this point the team that looks to initiate is sort of almost more likely to be the team that will lose the team fight unless they get that instant kill on a core.
It's just patience from both sides. VP not wanting to make a move. LGD same thing. But LGD now, they do get tabs. They have a ward over here too, so they do get full information of where VP is, and now they want to take this fight.
Here we go. They get the swap. Ooh, immediately, Pasha, he able to react. They do now turn towards Chalice. Dreamcore's going to go down just onto the Venge though. See if they can even kill off Chalice. They'll surround him. He's still alive in FY. You can see him on the back lines. He's making sure that the rest of them can't get into the fight. They've got Chalice. They'll lose Solo. 1-for-1 at the moment. In between the two, Black Hole's going to be used. Onto the one of them. They're able to cancel it. Sending him up into the air. VP still good to go. Dagon from Pasha bursts down. FY has to buy back on this Enigma. Pasha, he finds the third. This puck going rampant in the fight. The BKB's going to win pretty soon as well. But he's trying to turn jump for XM.
He got the Black Hole.
FY! The Black Hole! He's done it! FY! It's beautiful! Ramses is still alive! Pasha's pulled back! Ramsey's very low at the moment. They'll chase him up to the high ground. Oh, I guess another dagger out. He's got to be a little careful himself. He's very low. But FY there, coming in and turning around a fight that was absolutely going VP's way. FY just keeping it cool in a game that's had so many sort of slowdowns and pauses.
He just had so much gold. I think he was sitting at like 7,000 or more. He buys back, buys the full refresher, pops it, jumps back into the fight before VP is aware. Yeah, that was perfectly done there by FY. VP though, I actually think it was Chalice double swapped the puck. When he did he swapped him into that static storm and then swapped him again. So I think he just was like, oh, oops. I think he was trying to get him when like the orb play happened, but a little bit of a mistake of that initial setup. Costed his team a couple of those kills. But FY with the salvage. Chalice. Knocking Pasha a bit.
VP, they do have buybacks of Pasha. He's got the sentry down. Is there anybody with him to help him get the kill? Doesn't look like it. And you miss easy dodge. Now Solo's able to turn it, but FY and XM are by Chalice's side. Roger heads in. Swap's going to be there, but he's going to put FY in a very dangerous position. FY pops the BKB. Now look towards Roger. BKB committed by Ameame. He's on top of the Nix assassin. Roger trying to get away, but Ramses is in. The bashes are there. He'll surround the P. Can they kill the Spectre? Can they kill him? He's up to the high ground. Ameame trying to TP out. Can he get away? He can. Ameame will escape. But FY and Chalice now dead without buybacks. As in that situation, maybe you got to say, Chalice, you got to keep yourself behind, but swapping FY back in, that means both of them are dead.
And maybe FY thought that he could get maybe like the BKB Shadow Blade off or something like that, but he just gets purged and he just got focus fired. That was, oops. Bit of a suicide play coming out from LGD, and VP's happy with that. They did have to buy back, though, on no one to have to look to take that fight. And now Roche is up, and this is the most important Roche of the game as we have that refresher shard, and the LGD doesn't have two heroes.
And especially the fact that you put in mind that VP, they're going to get these elements of Roshan. 3 heroes do not have buyback for 5 minutes. And bottom lane, Pasha, he's finding so much action. XM's got to be careful. He'll turn with the arrow. It does do a lot of damage. Whoa! But Pasha, up into the skies he goes. Gets the kill on XM. No buyback for 5 minutes and a half.
They've got the refresher shard too, and they've got a Razor with an Eye of the Storm with Aghanims. He even has the interval too, so this double Eye of the Storm could look to actually take down these buildings so fast versus LGD. What a back and forth game.
Here we go.
They're committing for tier 4s. They identified those buybacks aren't there.
They know that they're not there. BKB immediately popped by no one. He's got the Eye of the Storm out. The double Eye of the Storm, of course, as he's starting to melt through these heroes. Ameame will commit 4th though onto no one. They do get the drag back. No one's falling pretty low. No one, he's dead. They've got the Aegis for the second life. X-Nova being surrounded by Ramses and Pasha. Ameame also dying. They get the break here. Ameame's in trouble. He's out of mana. Ameame's dead. He's got buyback available on the Spectre. He'll get back into the game, does still have the hold, but VP push on. Ramses and no one hitting the towers. Chalice rooted up. Jump forward, Pasha, the Dagon Blast. Pasha's dead too.
FY's up. They've got Haunt. They've got their Enigma too. They've got the Black Hole.
They need another miracle here from FY. He has 2 Black Holes available. Wants to set things up. VP cannot clump up here. They have to respect the Black Hole. Already no one. Pops the cheese. He's back to the full. FY's in. Gets the Black Hole just onto no one. There's going to be a defensive disruption over Solo's second Black Hole. It's being revved up by the refresh. Can FY find a target? I don't know if he can. He'll try for it, but it's only illusions. FY's dead. They'll move back to the base. VP, they've surely done it here in this game too, as they'll hit onto the edge. And GG is called. And VP were able to beat the Ameame Spectre in a late game situation as well. Some incredibly clutch late game plays there. Pasha in particular, dancing around these fights as the puck. He made it impossible for PSG.LGD to commit with the combo.
They're playing versus an Enigma with no cancels, and somehow they're able to do this with that one fight that happens in the river. Everything just went to chaos there for LGD as they just, crumbled in a matter of moments.
Absolutely amazing stuff there from VP to